Okay, some interesting comments coming from new LA Chargers coaches about Justin Herbert. And we can talk about offseason moves all we want, but I think it's important to remember who the Chargers have at quarterback. And it's refreshing to see new coaches come in. And of course, they're going to say some nice things, but it's interesting to see what they have to say about their quarterback that they're inheriting, that they're going to now be working with. If you're new to the channel, this channel is all about the LA Chargers. We're Detroit Lions fans that love following this team because of Jim Harbaugh, and we're excited to see what he does. So if you're new to this channel, would love if you subscribe. The draft's going to be crazy. Pick number 5, a lot of trades possible going to go down. So make sure you subscribe because these next couple of weeks are going to be awesome. Okay, let's take a look here. So hit the podium today was the pass game coordinator and the run game coordinator. But first, Herbert has come under fire by some national pundits recently for some mixed results in regard to his late game decisions. But he has a heck of an arm. He was selected 6th in 2020. Another prolific season despite missing 4 games. And he's really good, right? So let's just talk about what these coaches had to say. If you look at the two coaches that were talking, let's pull it up right here. It's Marcus Brady and Andy Bischoff. And so it was interesting to see what they had to say because the passing game coordinator, Marcus Brady, was talking about how he came from the Tressman and how Jim Harbaugh, that's a mentor to him. Here we go. Mark Tressman. Um, it's a guy that he looks up to in Brady, and then also Jim Harbaugh. And that's kind of how Tressman found his way to this staff. We talk about the CFL, we talk about the Bears, and I wasn't really successful. So that's kind of interesting. That was the connection to get Brady on board. So as he talked about how basically Justin Herbert, first thing he said was he's massive. When you first see him, he's 6'6", big arm, so he can catch the field. He does well at all 3 phases of the game. So I think that's first thing, right? Especially from an outsider's perspective, as you get an unbiased look into your team from a Detroit Lions fan, is you forget that Justin Herbert's he's just a big dude. He's kind of got that Josh Allen. You can trust him if he takes off and runs. You can trust that if he gets sacked or gets hit, he's not going to be injured, right? And I know he's had some injury things, but the Lions have Jared Goff, and it's like, oh my gosh, like we're one hit away from season over. Justin Herbert, not so much. So if you talk about it right here, we had a great relationship. This is Brady, the passing game coordinator, talking about Jim Harbaugh. He's and also talking about Mark Tressman. He's my mentor. He's also Jim's mentor. So that kind of where the connection came through. Then I spoke to Jim and it was all good. And here we go. So he talks about he said, helping out everywhere I can. Right now, I'm helping out the quarterback room. Jim pops in there as well. I'm in there, Mark Tressman. We're in there with the quarterbacks, but I'm going to be heavily involved with the game plan with Greg Roman, getting my perspective. And he talked about working with Justin Herbert. He's been great in the meeting rooms. It's going like Spanish class right now because he's learning new terminology, but he's locked in. There's something that he's asking questions. He goes on later to say that he's super intelligent. So you've got a guy in Justin Herbert that in some ways is entering into his prime. Been here since 2020. He's 4 or 5 years into the league now. It's like this is where he could enter into his prime. Again, you see it with Jared Goff, where everyone kind of wrote him off or just thought, he is what he is. And now he's like, no, I'm like 28 years old. Like I'm just now figuring this out fully. And that's what you could have with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert could be like, I'm just getting started. Like that's what's really exciting for me if I'm a Chargers fan. So Brady said, I watched Justin in college. I was always impressed with what he's capable of doing. Then obviously what he's done over the past few years, early in his career. That's what I think gets lost in Justin Herbert. He's only been in here. Yeah, like I was just saying, a couple, 3-4 years. So it's early. He's got another 10 years of his career. And what if he just keeps getting better and better? So he's like, hey, just the opportunity to work with him. As we know, to win in this league, you have to have a good quarterback. And we have one here. Blessed for the opportunity to work with him now. Have to find ways to get us going. So you have a good quarterback. And so again, I started the video by talking about how all this other moves that all teams are making, you're picking up this guy, that guy. It doesn't matter if you don't have a good quarterback. You have a good quarterback. So I know the Chargers technically really haven't done a lot as far as acquisitions this offseason, which A is a good thing because you shouldn't be if you can't do it, don't do it, right? And it's clear the Chargers don't have the cap space and they're waiting for the draft and then they're going to find out after that. So it's like, cool, don't do that. But the second thing is you have a quarterback. So everything that you do, it's just like, let's just see where we're at, see where Jim Harbaugh can take us. I'd rather take 1 year here of kind of figuring things out. And that's versus let's go all in and we try to rush this thing. Let's play the long game. We got Justin Herbert. We're good. So I love it. He's capable of doing everything, which is good. He's massive when you first see him. He's going to be able to take in all of this, which we're trying to limit, obviously minimize those things, but he has a big arm so he can stretch the field. He works good within the quick game. He does all three levels. He's sharp. He's athletic. He has all the tools to be successful. And he says, we just have to be able to maximize that, complement him in the run game, and we've got a chance to be pretty good. And that's what we keep talking about on this channel is Jim Harbaugh will change the running game overnight. They'll be physical. They'll be well coached. They'll be able to run the football in a balanced fashion, right? So we looked at some running stats from the Chargers last year, and it really wasn't that bad, but they had some big games that really skewed those numbers. Can you be consistent and run the ball in a consistent manner game after game? That's the challenge, and that's what every team wants to do. Yeah, it's nice when you have those games where you rush for 165 yards and that's cool, but can you get 85 100 yards just kind of consistently and then let Justin Herbert from there take over versus, all right, Justin, take over, man, at any point, and then hopefully we can run a little bit with you. That's hard. Now you look at what Greg Roman had to say. He talks about let's have an epic offense. So in the first couple meetings, he said, what would it look like if we'd done this a little differently? We have tightened up this little more. I think we're trying to create something epic. And again, you can only say that if you have the quarterback. So you got the quarterback, you got the coach. Again, you have to have a great draft, get some young, fresh players in here. Hopefully Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa stay healthy. You find a wide receiver. Things can come together on this team really quick, especially after the draft. Have the draft and then pick up some players. But I love how you have Justin Herbert. Like I can't stop saying that because he is a top 10 quarterback and you're lucky to have him and you can build around that. You can take big swings, make some misses, and it's all good. So let me know your thoughts in the comments and we'll see all of you on the next one.